Hi, welcome back to TAZ's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One. Today I have an important topic to discuss. I get a lot of questions. I see a lot of suffering out there, especially from newer wig wearers just beginning their wig journeys and facing some criticism, facing some judgment for wearing wigs. Now, this is not a new topic. We all have fear of being judged. So hopefully today I can show you how to overcome that fear of being judged so that you can get on living your best life. Coming up. We all care what other people think of us, right? This is a very normal, natural, human experience. If we care too much about what people think of us, if we care too much to conform, this way of thinking really holds us hostage from being our true selves and being happy. It creates anxiety, it robs us of our joy, and it holds us back from personal growth. So when we worry about what other people think of us, and when we are in fear of others judging us, what are we doing? We're giving them our power. We're giving them power over our lives. They have power over our happiness, our joy, our personal growth. We're giving them power over our own self-worth. Just remember, how somebody treats you, what somebody else thinks of you is not about you. It is about them. It's about how they see themselves, and they're projecting that onto you and anything else out there in their world. All that matters in the world is how you see yourself, right? Because the way you see yourself is again going to be projected onto everybody else. So if somebody comes to you and they say something terrible to you and it hurts your feelings initially, it's not going to matter unless you yourself believe it. So I've seen this on my channel before. I'll get a comment that says, Taz, I don't think you're a good person. I think you're dishonest, or whatever, insert derogatory term there. Yeah, it stings for a second, but then you think, wait a minute, that's not the truth. That's not who I am. And I'm not going to convince them, and I don't need to convince them that they're wrong. But I know who I am, and I am not going to believe it. So it makes no difference. So goodbye to the negativity. Goodbye to the judgment, because I know who I am. So be careful of your self-talk, because inside of every one of our minds is this constant dialogue. We tell ourselves a story. Every waking moment, there is a story going on inside of us. So what is your story? Are you self-critical? So first of all, in order not to believe somebody else's criticism and judgment, we first of all have to know who we are. And that begins with the story that we tell ourselves internally every single day. And allow yourself to make mistakes. I have a very compassionate voice towards myself. I know enough to know that I don't know anything in this world. And I'm here to learn those lessons. And so some things I've seen before, some things are completely new to me, but I can always reflect and learn something from every single person and situation that I have contact with in my life. Give yourself a break and watch the negative self-talk. So I really do get it. When you start to wear wigs, you have to get used to the experience of wearing wigs, the sensation, what looks good on you, finding wigs that you can love and enjoy. And then you have to deal with that whole emotional thing about coming to terms with hair loss. And then adding into that the pressure, the social pressure, and possible judgment for wearing wigs. So it is absolutely a lot. So I would urge you to find at least one person that supports you in your wig journey and really lean on that person for some moral support, for some encouragement to keep going in your journey. Because what you're doing by deciding to wear wigs is to improve your life. You're taking back your power. Wigs empower women to take back their lives, to have some control over their happiness and joy. and to be their authentic selves. Number 2 is what I like to call immersion therapy. I've heard that somewhere before. I think it's a psychological term, perhaps. I think I learned it when I was taking some Spanish courses, and, immersing yourself in a culture that speaks that language is probably the fastest way you're going to learn that language, right? It's the same way with wigs. So the sooner you get out there and immerse yourself into the situation, the better off you will be. The quicker you're going to be able to get over that anxiety and fear of being judged and on with the rest of your life and joy in your wig journey. I always like to tell my story about how I came out in public wearing wigs. When I decided, and it didn't take long, when I decided that I was going to wear wigs and improve my life through wearing wigs, I knew that I had to just break through and do it. And I'm a Band-Aid ripper. I just ripped the Band-Aid off, kind of like throwing me into the deep end of the pool and, forcing me to swim. One night I decided I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to put on that wig, and I'm going to go to work. And it just happened to be that day I had many outside appointments because I was a mortgage banker. I had a lot of appointments with different realtors in my territory, my location. So I had like 4 or 5 appointments on the books that day. And I felt like, wow, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If somebody's going to judge me, if they're going to criticize, if they're going to talk, I'm just going to let them do it, right? So I went to work that next morning with a wig on, and a couple of my coworkers came in and they're like, they did a double take. And I said, yeah, I'm wearing a wig. It's so much fun. I said, I'm tired of worrying about my hair loss, and modern wigs are just amazing, and I'm having so much fun. They were very receptive and encouraging and supportive. And then throughout that same day, I had lots of appointments, and each appointment I just briefly touched on the fact that, yeah, I'm wearing wigs now. It's just been amazing. What do you think? What do you think of this one? Just having that conversation with them was really cathartic for me. And by the end of that day, I never, ever looked back. I never had any fear of wearing wigs. And so number 3, just be aware of how you're presenting yourself when you're coming out wearing wigs. So if I approach you and my head is down, or I avert my eyes, I'm not standing up straight. What am I projecting? I'm projecting guilt. I'm projecting shame. If you project guilt, if you project shame, like, poor me, I'm wearing a wig, isn't that shameful? You're going to get that back. People are going to judge you just because they think you want to be judged. They want to confirm what you're already thinking, and that is you're ashamed to wear a wig. So when you go out in public for the first time wearing a wig, or introduced to a group of people that don't know you wear wigs yet, whether it's family, friends, strangers, just be aware of how you're presenting yourself. I want you to hold your head high. I want you to meet their eyes, and I want you to smile like everything is great, because it is great. And if you don't feel that it's great at that moment, fake it till you make it, baby. Smile. Put on the most confidence that you've ever had in your life, and just own it. How you project yourself to other people is what you're going to get back. So if you find yourself getting a lot of negative feedback about you wearing wigs, somebody wants to shame you for it, check your own opinions first. How do you feel about yourself? Do you believe you're shameful? Do you believe this is the most horrible thing that you've ever had to do is wear a wig? Because if you think that way, that's what other people are going to think of you. So number 4 of things that you can do to help overcome your fear of judgment and anxiety about wearing wigs in public. Have some comebacks ready, okay? So when I decided to walk into my office that morning with the wig on and then go to my appointments that afternoon, and I held my head high and I smiled and I was proud of the fact that I was wearing wigs, and aren't we lucky, and isn't this so much fun? I had no idea what I was going to say. So I didn't really have anything in the can ready, But do that. Practice, rehearse what you're going to say, what your comebacks are going to be. That upfront confidence and pride That's going to get rid of 99.9% of any thoughts of negative feedback. I guarantee it, whether it's a stranger, a friend, acquaintances, you went to a family reunion or a picnic, it's gonna quell most of that because they see how happy you are wearing wigs and how confident you are and how beautiful the wigs look on you. So again, practice your comebacks. What are you going to say? Even if somebody says something positive, how are you going to respond? So if you are walking into a situation and somebody says, "Oh, I love your hair," what are you going to say? My famous response is, "Yeah, isn't it great? It's a wig." And I just watch the astonishment. You may have to have those conversations, at least initially. Tell them how blessed you feel that you have these options, these beautiful, wonderful, modern wigs. Yes, it's a wig. Isn't this amazing? You can see that your enthusiasm, your confidence is just absolutely contagious in those situations. But if you do predict that somebody is going to give you some sort of judgment, you can choose to ignore it. You know, if you think somebody is being snarky, just be as perky and confident as you ever were. Isn't this great? Look at this wig. I mean, I think everybody should have wigs to wear. You see what I'm saying? So have those ready. And even if you have to rehearse, role play, rehearse, or whatever, just to prepare yourself for certain situations as you begin your journey in public with wearing wigs. See, what I think is going on is that if somebody judges you for wearing a wig, again, remember what we learned, that it's more about themselves, okay? So if you have somebody out there that has really nice natural hair, and they style it and they swing it around and they're proud of it, and then you present yourself in a wig that looks every bit as good or better than their natural hair, they might end up being judgmental because they're just a little bit jealous. I mean, after all, they were born with that hair. And that is a source of pride. Maybe their identity is in their hair. And so if you can go out and buy hair that looks every bit as good or better than their natural hair, there might be a little bit of envy there. There might be a little bit of jealousy. The other type of personality that you're going to encounter if they're judgmental of you for wearing wigs is those people that don't have it in them to take control of their lives and do what you have done. They're envious, not of the wigs necessarily, but they're envious and jealous of your confidence. They're envious and jealous of your ability to put yourself out there and take control of your life and do something good for yourself. Because after all, you know, that's not conventional thinking, is it? And they're jealous that they can't have that same attitude. Now, what you can do in that case is turn that around and say to them, you could do this too. You know, you don't have to have hair loss to wear wigs and enjoy wigs. There is no wrong reason to have wigs. I happen to have hair loss, but you don't have to have hair loss to enjoy these beautiful wigs. Heck, wouldn't you enjoy just having a great hair day every single day? Or having the weather not affect your hair? Or being absolutely perfect for that wedding or that reunion? So many reasons why. And I have experienced some negativity and just the energy and somebody it puts back on me about wearing wigs. If I sense that they're reticent, if I sense that there's a little bit of negative energy there, I will look upon them with compassion and let them know that wigs could be for them too. Like, I can show you how to do this for yourself. And lastly, we can't expect others to do things we're not willing to do, right? So the next time you find yourself judging someone over their fashion choices, over their jewelry choices, maybe they have piercings, tattoos, you know, just because they don't conform doesn't give us the right to judge anyone. We don't have the right to judge anyone as it is, even ourselves. So be mindful of the fact that you might have judgmental thoughts towards others, because I think the first step in creating less judgment of ourselves by others is to not judge others. So it's just a mindset, and it takes practice. Like every single day, you have to be mindful of the thoughts that come into your mind. And if you're totally oblivious to it and you just spout all kinds of judgment towards people, you're probably going to get that back. What you put out comes back. So just be aware. Just be aware of your thoughts and your judgments towards others. Because if you start treating people with more compassion, if you're more accepting of everything, race, religion, gender, accessory choices, makeup, clothing, personal accessories, everything. The way people lead their lives. I find myself doing that sometimes too, and I'm very, very careful now. Like if I see somebody that has won the lottery and went out and blew that money, and like they deserve it, right? They deserve to be destitute because they did not handle their money well. And if it was me, I'd never do that, right? I don't do that anymore. I'm very careful about putting judgment out because I know that's what I'm going to get back. I have talked to ladies who have several wigs in their possession. They love them. They love putting them on and seeing how beautiful they look in them, but they're too ashamed to wear them out in front of other people. And that makes me super sad because I know that if it could just break through and come out on the other side of that and put away some of that fear and judgment, fear of what other people think, and to believe in themselves and take back their personal power, that it will open up a whole world of joy in wearing wigs. It'll pave the way for them to be the best version of themselves and live their best lives. It has been a real honor and privilege to be a part of your wig journey. Not only that, but to be maybe a part of your own personal development, whatever stage of life that you are in. So thank you for inviting me in today, and we will talk again real soon on Taz's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One.